Okay, I guess this is the intro. I have been on the road for the past week or so, and I thought, why not have a Q&A? Because I haven't done a Q&A on my channel in about 2 years, and there's been a lot happening. So yeah, let's get into it. I need to make some lunch. It's 4 p.m, the sun is going down, and I haven't had lunch yet, so let's have some lunch. So the first question that I had from someone is, how are you doing today? How are things? I hope things are going smoothly. How is the visa process going? As of right now, I still don't know anything about the visa, but that's kind of expected. But the question, how am I doing? Yeah, I'm doing a lot better actually. Being back in Japan for the past couple of weeks and being able to be in my old life again, like my actual home, and being able to be with Chris and all my friends and everything, I feel so much better. Almost to the point where I'm like, was I even depressed a couple weeks ago? I don't know. I honestly don't remember because because it's been so great since I've been back. So the next question is, do I miss working at Tokyo Disney? Yes, I do. Man, that was such a fun year. I knew that it was gonna be like a fun memory to look back on. So I really tried to embrace and just go all out, you know, go to all the gatherings with my friends and really soak up every moment of it. I'm so glad that I did, because it's just the most beautiful 1 year experience of my life, and I think it's kind of like perfect like that, you know, like I miss working there, but I almost wouldn't want to go back and work there because I don't want to taint my wonderful experience that I had there. Working for Disney itself, I really loved it because we all know that Disney has a magic. It's got like a certain, you know, magic when you walk in the theme park and you hear the music and you see the characters. So it's really wonderful to work for a company that all of the customers and all of the people that you're working with, they are there to have a good time. It's not like working at like a government office or something like that, where the people coming in to talk to you are there because they're worried about something or they're trying to resolve an issue or something like that. In Disney, they're already happy to see you, they're already happy to be there, which just makes my job so much easier. I guess I never really like said on the channel what I did at Disney. Kind of because Disney is very secretive about, you know, behind the scenes stuff. But I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. How do you say? I hung out with many princesses. Is that like the Disney correct version of the sentence? I don't know. But yeah, it was really fun. I really loved that year. What am I even cooking? I don't know. Do you have plans to do a long-term off-roading van trip if visa stuff works out, obviously? Yes, absolutely. This trip is the longest that I've been on the road so far. But I mean, it's only been like a week, but it's been very fun, a really great experience, but I've learned a lot, definitely. I think it was kind of like a bit of a tester to see like how long could I really feasibly do this without completely burning out. I think when you're making like content like I am, it can be like very tiring to do it like just non-stop and actually live on the road, because I need time to sit down and edit for the big chunks of time in order to edit one of my videos. I'm thinking it's probably going to be a lot better for me if I were to maybe travel at like a month at a time and then stop for a month and just, you know, edit everything, and then go out again for another month and then stop for a month and then edit everything. That kind of seems like a lot more of a sustainable option for me personally, rather than just being on the road full time. But I would eventually like to see a lot of Japan. I want to be able to travel like all the way, I nearly dropped the egg, all the way up Japan, and like even up to Hokkaido if I could. That would be amazing. But yeah, obviously that's a very long trip, and I would want to like stop and see places along the way. So yeah, definitely want to do a bit more long-term stuff. Are you considering ever taking the Jeep to go on a trip outside of Japan? In parentheses, might be dumb. Not a dumb question at all. This has actually been kind of part of, not like my plan, but more of like an ideal future that I can see for my channel at least. I obviously want to spend as much time traveling around Japan and seeing as much as I can see, but I would love if there was some way, I mean, I know there is a way, it's just expensive, to ship the Jeep to another country and then continue the travels there as well. Like one thing that the pandemic has taught me is that fast travel and like going to a country for like 5 days, 4 days, and just zipping around and seeing all the big tourist attractions, seeing as much as you can in that time. It's like not the greatest way to travel. Like I really am enjoying like slow travel with the Jeep and like, you know, like seeing the spots that are in between the train stations and just like taking things slow and not like rushing to see as much stuff as I can. So Chris and I have talked about a number of different like countries and options. Holy moly. There are a couple of countries on our list. Some of those countries would be New Zealand is a big one, Canada obviously, and Australia, of course. Like of course I want to take it to Australia, but Australia is just such a big country. You know, I drive like for 6 hours in Japan and there's just so much that I can see in between those spots, but in Australia it's like you can drive for 6 hours and it can just look exactly the same. Australia's kind of intimidating just because of how vast that landscape is. But eventually I would definitely love to do that in Australia. So if you are watching this right now and you have any contacts with like tourism boards from any countries that would like to help us ship the van, ship the Jeep to your country so that we can go and do like a bunch of tourism promotion in your country, let me know, email me down below. But yeah, I mean, ideally that would be perfect. That is like, that's the goal, that's the ideal. Anyway. Did you have to obtain a Japanese driver's license? Was it difficult for foreigners? Yes, I do have a Japanese driver's license, but because I'm from Australia, it meant that the process was so much easier. Like I didn't have to do the full like test and everything like that. So Australians, you're able to just transfer your Australian license into a Japanese license. Sounds very easy, but it was actually still kind of complicated. Like just a lot of things in Japan, there's a lot of like bureaucracy and they love a good bit of paperwork, and it has to be perfect. It has to be exactly the right kind of form that they're asking for. I mean, like, whatever. I get it. They've got a job to do. I did used to have, years ago when I worked at Disney actually, I went on a trip to Hokkaido and I rented a car then. And in doing that, I just got an international driver's license from Australia, which is dead easy to get, but you can only use that for 1 year. Since I've been in Japan for quite a lot longer than that, I had to get a proper Japanese license. But now that I've got it, it's great. I can use that as a form of ID instead of like my residence card, which is really helpful. But yeah, I guess I put these on top. So what is the best vegan restaurant in the Kansai area? Without a doubt, my favorite restaurant in all of Japan. It's not a vegan restaurant, but they have vegan options. It's called Lucky Garden. Oh my gosh, it is the best food ever. It's definitely not Japanese food though, it's a Sri Lankan restaurant. But I mean, if you're trying to eat like traditional Japanese food, most of it's gonna have some kind of animal product in it. But this food is so good, and the atmosphere at the cafe, it's beautiful and it's out in nature and it changes in the seasons and it's just, it's so good. Okay. Low-key very happy to be done with the cooking because multitasking is a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. Chris and I have been obsessed with this like bibimbap. It's like a bibimbap stir fry. Oh, bibimbap fried rice. It's a good hearty meal though. How fluent are you in Japanese and how often do you study? Ooh, okay, so this is a bit of an embarrassing one to answer, but I'm sure a lot of foreigners living in Japan can also relate. So how fluent am I? I would say like I know enough Japanese to be able to get by when I'm traveling and out and about. I can ask people questions, I can understand what they're saying. Like I can travel without any problems. I can get myself into and out of trouble, but I can't do my taxes kind of thing. Like that's the kind of level that I'm at. And I still make a lot of mistakes obviously when I'm talking to people, and there'll just be days when I completely blank and I can't remember very basic things. I always just say I'm at an intermediate level. How often do I study though? Unfortunately, I've kind of reached the stage in my language learning where I've just become very comfortable, therefore complacent, therefore I don't really study much anymore. And that's on me. That's because I've been lazy and I haven't been prioritizing it, but because I don't work for a Japanese company, right? I've always been working for companies that have English speakers around, they've got translators everywhere. I haven't always needed to study Japanese, so there hasn't been that like, you know, outward external pressure for me to learn it more. But that's all an excuse. I should just prioritize it more, but I haven't been, so maybe that can be a New Year's resolution. Will it though? Will it really? This next one is a very good question. How do you balance prioritizing creating content versus enjoying the moment when traveling? So I think my stance on this has kind of changed over the years. I think particularly because now doing YouTube and getting content is my job. When I'm out like traveling with the Jeep and I'm making, you know, Jeep vlogs, I guess I call them Jeep vlogs, I kind of treat that now as work. So I don't really prioritize like having fun and really enjoying the moment when I'm there, because I'm there to get videos, I'm there to get photos and content. God, I hate the word. Are you guys tired of hearing the word content? I am. I hear it all fucking day. I'm tired of that word. Anyway, so when I'm out doing these trips, I treat it more as work and I don't try to prioritize my enjoyment. But of course, when I'm on the trips, I'm having fun. Like going to these campsites and making fires and messing around with Chris in particular, like it's all really fun, and it's truly amazing that I get to call this my job. Like, what a privilege. The other side I have is like, say I am just on a vacation and I brought my camera to take photos, but I'm not there to like get content. I think having like particularly photography, I'm really starting to enjoy photography a lot recently. Getting the right lens and the right lighting, the right composition, and figuring out how to get the best photo. That's almost like part of my enjoyment. Even if I'm not like getting content, I still feel the desire to want to take beautiful photos. So yeah, that's how I go about it. At what point, sub-count, did you feel like content creation could be a full-time job? And how did you prep for the move to full-time YouTube financially? It wasn't really about a sub-count, because sub-counts don't really determine whether or not you can go full-time with it or not. So I first went full-time YouTube when I was at Tokyo Disney, and then I decided not to stay for another year so that I could do YouTube full-time. And prepping for that, you know, at the time there were companies reaching out to me that wanted to work with me, but I wasn't able to work with them because of like scheduling conflicts and that kind of thing, because I had a job. So it was around that time that I was like, maybe I can do this full-time. It was a bit of a leap though. I really wasn't making that much money, but I was like, if I can make videos more, then I'll be able to support myself financially. In the end, it was a bad idea, and I had a terrible year, and I was really sad, and I was depressed, man. It was not good. Different time of my life. It wasn't just because I was doing YouTube, but it was for so many different reasons. It was because I had left a wonderful job that I really enjoyed, and I loved being part of a team, and now I'm solo. I wasn't happy in my relationship at the time. And then at the start of COVID, I got a job, another performing job in Osaka, when it was like an answer to my prayers. Like, I was finally able to be a part of a team again, and I could go back to performing, which I missed so much. But this time around, it definitely like less of a leap and more of a like, this is the next step in my journey. God, I hate that word too. I mean, visa stuff aside, it's been really great. It's been much better this time around. I'm in a healthy relationship. My friends are still around me. I have a very solid plan for my channel moving forward. I love the content that I'm making, and you guys seem to really enjoy it too. So yeah, it's going a lot better this time around than it was, you know, a couple of years ago. It's totally getting too dark. Oh boy. Are you a self-taught photographer? What was your starter camera? Keep up the great work. Thank you so much for asking me a question about photography, because I am really starting to enjoy it like a lot. I bought my first camera back in 2012, just my first year in Japan. First camera I bought was a Canon Kiss X5. Very entry-level, cheaper camera, DSLR. And I think I just bought a 50mm like nifty 50 lens. It was basic enough for where it like doesn't get too complicated, but good quality enough to where you can get really excited about the kinds of photos that you were getting. So I used that, and I learned. It was mostly just by myself. Like, I would just walk to the park on my weekends, or any time off that I got, I would bring my camera with me and try to figure out all of the settings, like learning what ISO was and aperture and shutter speed and all of that. You know, I went through the phase that everyone goes through where you just think that like the lower the aperture, the better, and just being like, whoa, bokeh is amazing. And so I took a lot of mediocre photos, but looking back at some of the older photos that I took though, even now I'm still like quite proud of them. Like I'm like, wow, that's like legitimately a very good photo. Like, I would be happy if I took that now, kind of thing. Recently I've been starting to get back into photography a lot more and just going on like photo walks just with the purpose of taking photos, not worrying about videos, not worrying about reels or TikToks or any of that bullshit. Probably only like 4 years ago that I actually learned how to use Lightroom, and that was just by watching like a tutorial on YouTube. Like you can pretty much learn whatever you want to learn on the internet these days. It's kind of amazing. I post most of my like photography. It's still content though. Where do we draw the line between content and life things? Anyway, I post all of my photos and everything on Instagram. Screw the algorithm. I love posting photos and I love sharing them with people, so go follow me on Instagram if you're not already. I'm getting really full. I'm gonna have to pack this bitch up. And it's so cold now, I'm shivering. How did you originally end up in Japan? What a great question. I should have put this way earlier in the video. So the reason that I originally moved to Japan was because it was back in 2012. I got a job working at Universal Studios Japan as a performer. So I auditioned for that back in Australia. I actually auditioned twice. I think I even like only just got the job as well. At my old dance school, my dance like university, dance college, full-time performing arts college, there was this one girl who wasn't very nice. And we both got to the final round of the USJ auditions for face characters, which are like Marilyn Monroe and Princess Fiona. You know, you walk around the park and you greet people and you act in character and that kind of thing. I was stoked to get to the final round for that, but she was like very elitist about it because she's like, I'm a dancer, I would only dance. Someone asked her like, oh, if you got the job as a face character at USJ, like, would you take it? And she was like, hell no, I don't want to just like wave my hand all day. And I was like sitting there on the couch like right next to her like, well, I'd take it. And then guess what? She got the job. And then she turned it down. And then a couple days later, I got the job. I've never talked about this on the channel. I hardly ever go into like the ins and outs of my performing career. But that was such a pivotal moment in my life where I was like, man, I can't wait to get out of this bitchy, catty environment that dance schools sometimes have. Now the dreaded washing up. Do you travel based more on your own desire to visit a location or by follower requests? Honestly, I don't know if I've ever been somewhere because people have requested that I go there. I spend a lot of time on Google Maps, just zooming in and out of locations, and on Instagram, finding places that other photographers have been to. I'm always on the lookout for places that look visually really beautiful, because for YouTube, if things visually look beautiful, it's generally a lot easier to keep an audience engaged. It's getting so dark, no! So the next question is probably gonna be my last one. Is it worth coming to Japan for a camping and overlanding trip? Yes, 110%. I think that Japan is actually a really underrated country for nature. So many of the places that I've been to, it's kind of like, if this was in Australia, it would be packed with people. Like a lot of these places, I just get it completely to myself. I feel so spoiled. And a lot of the places in Japan, like I was saying before, you can drive for 6 hours, but there's so many places to see like in between those 2 points. So yeah, I think that Japan is actually a wonderful country to go overlanding in. So the first trip that I ever went on was with a company called Overland Japan based in Tokyo, and that was the first time I've ever experienced this kind of lifestyle, and it like super kicked off this like obsession in my mind where I was like, I have to do this all the time. I can highly recommend that if you're coming to Japan and you really want to try this lifestyle out, definitely go to Overland Japan. I'll have the link down below. We also have like an affiliate kind of collaboration link. So if you use the code Hannah, then you'll get like a special, what is it called? It's like a surprise snack like for the road. Like he'll provide a few extra snacks and like surprise things for you. So please use the code Hannah. It also helps out me, it directly helps the channel, helps fund this channel and everything. So yeah, thank you if you do that. I can't believe I just made lunch. And it's this dark, crazy. That's the end of this little Q&A. I really hope that you enjoyed it. It's been a very long time since I've done one of these, and hope it was fun to kind of incorporate it with me making lunch, and it's nighttime now. I just want to say, just really quickly, just want to put it out there. I'm like I get really proud and really like, there's been so many different phases of my YouTube channel now. I've had it for like 6 years. And you know, there's definitely been times where I'm like, damn, there's a lot of negative comments, or like, damn, these people really hate me. But recently, like, I feel like the community of people here, like you're all so kind and so supportive, and you just want the best for me. And that's just so heartwarming. Really, really, really amazing. I'm like kind of I'm always just like shocked by how wonderful the community is. So thank you so much. And without you, honestly, without you guys, this would all not be possible. So yeah, I'm so thankful for everyone here, and I hope that you continue to enjoy my videos in the future, and I hope that my visa is approved so that I can move forward with my plans. Yeah, anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.